Hey, Derrick.
Hey, Kendrick, how are you today?
Very nice. Very nice to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us and being interested in joining the Moringa Growers Co-op. I understand that you're in California and you have a few questions for us, and you have a lot of resources and tools and experience, in your tool belt that you can help grow the co-op. So I'm interested in just having a conversation with you. This is all fun, and we're learning how to grow this cooperative nationwide, worldwide. And so, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, to follow up on our conversation from yesterday, I think I shared with you my background as it relates to a previous career that I held. I'm a retired fire captain and paramedic for the San Jose Fire Department here in California. I spent 15 years in the fire service and retired at a young age of 31 to pursue my dreams of being an entrepreneur and a humanitarian. Like I mentioned to you also, I run a small farm, and the farm that I'm associated with is called Aqua Farming Tech.
That's right.
It's located in the Coachella Valley of California, and the farm is centered around aquaculture. So we grow fish and shrimp and snails and some other livestock on the property, and as well we grow moringa.
Nice.
And we grow it aquaponically outdoors, actually, in a system that I developed over the last 5 years, which is called BioColumn. And what's unique about it is that it's a aquaponic platform that actually cleans the water and also provides nutrients for the fish, for the plants at the same time. So we are looking to expand our technology and our model in the hemp industry.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I came across the Moringa Co-op here that you are associated with. And I wanted to find out more on how we could bring these 21st century farming techniques and some of our ideas around how we could take not only moringa, but take what is really popular right now, CBD oil and CBD products, and how they can blend together because they have some of the same similar properties. And I wanted to see if there's a way that we could collaborate where the co-op could actually work in those two spaces and provide, nutritional supplements and various products that, people aren't really aware of, but, have used for many years in different countries, but not here in the U.S. So, and especially here where I live, there's a huge market here in California that I think the co-op could capitalize off of.
Oh, yes.
And we could, talk about all those details, how a supply chain that we've been developing could help integrate and get some things, moving for some of the growers within the co-op.
That'd be beautiful.
Interested in entering the California market.
Oh, that's great news, because we had a great conversation yesterday about how the co-op would work as a franchise model, where we have these hubs located all over the country, all over the world, where farmers like you are duplicating the Numa model, where Numa Farms is a business that I own and run, and it uses its membership in the co-op to gain access to materials, education, all centered around the moringa tree. That the co-op is this educational resource facility, but also is helpful as, with all of these locations around the country and around the world, as like these drop shipping centers, that when we get an order, say through the website, the main Moringa Growers Co-op website, in California, in your area, someone ordered a kilogram of powder, that we know through our systems that we've already got you certified as a grower through our high standard of growing, and you're processing it at a facility that's certified organic and things like that. And then you're able to fulfill that order without it having to come from Florida, but think global, act local. And we have the systems in place to be able to say, when we get an order from California, they're only going to be getting moringa within a 50, 100, or 200 mile radius. they're not going to be getting moringa from India if they're ordering it from California. Now, unless they're actually ordering, because there will be options to order Indian moringa, African moringa, Mexican moringa, Tampa Bay moringa, or like you said, Coachella, is that where you're at, near that area?
Yes. California.
California moringa. And then we can have these farmers in these locations kind of listed out where they can also not only purchase from us directly, but they could also go to your farm. Like your farm as a membership would be listed on the co-op page, and someone can find you really easy. Because say like your total year's worth of yield is say 100 kilos, but given the tier that you're in, say the membership tier that you want to be a part of really only allows you to sell 50 kilos to the co-op. So we're only able to purchase 50 kilos from you in 1 year. And we're kind of developing these tiers now, as I was mentioning, where there's like that 1 to 5 tree tier, which is really that ground level grower that we have 300 locations in the Tampa Bay area right now that are just fueling the co-op right now with their fresh and organic moringa greens. But as we continue to increase our level of overstanding, certifications, testing, analysis, making sure that we're getting, really the highest quality moringa that we can get, that it's just coming from that local area, from that farmer. And then if you have excess moringa, you're operating as your own business. You have your own business, your own website, and you're able to also list and sell moringa on your website. There's so many different types of farmers. Some farmers have websites already established or going and planning on having their own kind of base of customers. Other farmers don't have anything in place. They really are just a grower, and they're going to depend a lot on the co-op, and that's okay too. There's a tier for them for that. If they need us to help them build a website, they need us to help come and harvest, because there might be absentee farmers a part of that, as you know, like absentee owners, say in real estate and things like that. There might be owners of land that want to go ahead and just lease their land out to the co-op, and we can make a trade in that way through increasing soil fertility, through safety in just surveillance, making sure their property is safe, making sure there's no animals or people coming on the property, all kinds of things people have been asking us to do. So it's really exciting that you gave me a ring and you found us through YouTube, and it's really beautiful to have you here today. So I really appreciate you just getting it out there that we have farmers like you that are interested in duplicating what myself and Numa have been doing. And that's what we're trying to figure out is, what's the relationship that the co-op has with Numa and also other farmers. So a lot of people are asking, do I have to have my own business? We're recommending that every grower, start their own LLC or start their own corporation or their own farm in some way, whether it's starting as a DBA, and they're thinking this as themselves, even with one tree. One of the ways that we can purchase from growers is through that B2B kind of relationship, and that helps with taxes and things like that.
No, I love it. You did an excellent job in building that infrastructure and that back end, which I think is going to be very important for supporting existing growers and those who are going to join the co-op in the future. You have a process and a system in place that could plug and play, and that's very important when you're trying to scale. And make impact and have impact like you're doing. So I, commend you on all the work that you've done there. And I know that, working from a blank sheet of paper is very hard, and to build, capacity like this and get people like myself interested in what you're doing, that's huge. So I commend you on that. And anything, like I said, anything I could do to help support, I mentioned that I'm a serial entrepreneur, and, I've ran many businesses here, and, been, around the world, and spent a lot of time in Africa, doing a lot of humanitarian work.
Tell us about your connection with Moringa in Africa.
Well, I'm working with a group that actually is looking to coalesce, multiple countries throughout Africa to basically develop a infrastructure where the moringa that's being grown locally could be used for malnutrition and some other things that, that is important to the continent. But at the same time, they're like everyone knows that, the big opportunity and, the big market is here in the U.S. So they're looking for us to help work with them on building a value chain. Mm-hmm. They call it the Moringa value chain.
I love it.
Yeah. And what they are looking for is just a way to get the products out of Africa into the U.S., stuff that's healthy, that's been tested, organic, and meet all the criteria that, one would want in the standards that one would want here in the U.S. I think that's where they're headed. And, and this is just one of the multiple groups that we're working with. And we feel that, with a back end support like the Moringa Co-op that you've developed, we can help be instrumental in being able to deliver, on some of those areas that we have mutual, desire to work in. So,
oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so that's one thing I'm working on, and I'm looking forward to finding a way to support you, because I know that you're in the need of helping hands, and we have a group that have various degrees of background in the Moringa space.
Yeah.
And some unique ideas and concepts that could be shared amongst the co-op. So these are things that we could discuss here in the near future.
Well, one of the biggest things that I took from our conversation was your grant writing abilities and skills that you have, and your connections with even Dr. Carrie Waterman there in California. She's been an integral role in getting Moringa research and trials and studies and pharmaceutical companies on board with the power that Moringa can give the people when consuming it on a regular basis. So when you mentioned that she was a part of helping the state of California, or the state of California awarded Moringa farmers $500,000 throughout the state to help get farmers kind of started growing Moringa, is that right?
Yeah, to some extent, yes. We're working with Dr. Carrie Waterman, who is at UC Davis, and she's studying fertilizer, Moringa fertilizer. In fact.
Nice.
And with some other universities down south, some historical Black colleges who are doing some research around this, product line that we're looking to develop, right? So Dr. Waterman paid a visit to our farm a couple months ago, and we were able to discuss, some ideas around how we could further work with the university to do additional research in Moringa. Mm-hmm. And yes, there was a grant that was basically granted just in the last month that's specific to Moringa, and more specifically to California, and basically bring awareness of the goodness of Moringa, and also just getting it to the information to the farmers on how they could grow it and how to build capacity and production here in California. So we look forward to working with the university and others who are interested in learning and actually researching, the topic of Moringa or CBD or anything that deals with, those two subjects. So
that's beautiful. Yes. And that's one of the main things that we're working on with the board. And we want to open the opportunity for yourself and others to come join us on a higher level. Because right now we're seeking members of the board, and we were possibly talking about a position that you might serve, or even as a committee member on the board somewhere, somehow. We're still kind of working it out. We still have a lot to talk about and what we can do. But I've been talking with our most recent board of director. Her name's Tanina. She's doing the operations, and she's excited to see this already starting to reach out and really get the attention that we need to get the help that we need, because we've been inching forward as I've been growing the Numa farm. We finally just got our first location. I was homeless. I was traveling. The reason why the co-op started was because I didn't have a place of my own. And I just knew that if I didn't get started now, that 2 years or 5 years from now, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so I just started knocking on people's doors, asking if I could plant these moringa trees in their backyard knowing that 2, 3, 5 years from now, I'd be right where I am right now, starting my farm. And it's crazy because everybody comes in here every single day and they're like, where's your moringa? Where's the moringa? And I say, well, it's on other people's properties. All the moringa that we harvest and we've grown so far is out there in the city, in nature, out there in the urban fabric, out there where people can grab it and eat it right off the tree. And then when they have excess moringa, they call us up and they donate the moringa greens for us to help us get started. Some of them are asking for cash and that capital, and we've generated kind of like a stock share option for them, where for right now we're just asking all of our members to make a trade with us where we can put this stock certificate. We can give them, so like Candy gave us like 10 kilos worth of her moringa greens. I dried them and we gave her 10 kilos worth of stock certificate valued at $100 because since we harvested it right now, we're going to be offering $10 a kilo. Since we harvest, dry, process, and get it sold, we have a lot of things in motion that if we were to actually give cash right now, it would hinder the growth of the co-op. So we're asking just everyone that wants us to buy moringa from them, we can only really give out these stock options, which then helps to build the asset in the co-op, which we're able to return with interest. We have some investment opportunities available for interested co-op members. And we're actually going to be coming out with this full co-op membership packet by the first of the year. And I'd really love to get your help in developing that packet, as well as helping us to get some grants from the state of Florida or whoever from the federal government, agricultural grants. Let's talk about how we can get some money rolling in so that way we can get the resources we need to get the proper licensings and certifications and insurances and all that stuff, processing centers. It's a lot of work to get everything up to a standard, USDA organic, certified, all of that stuff. So that way we can get into as many stores as possible.
Yes. And anything I could do to help in that regards. I'm very well versed in a lot of the corporate structures and how you run boards and manage, things that have a lot of moving parts. So, anything I could do, just reach out and, I'll be love to, serve on your board and do anything I could do to help advance your cause and to get as many, moringa trees as we can planted and share the knowledge and share the information with as many people around the globe. So
that's what this is. The co-op is really an educational resource. We want growers like you that are becoming a member to also become local chapter, like start a local chapter of the co-op where you have these hubs. I think it's right here where the hubs, where say your local chapter is here, you're the main processing center for your local chapter area because you have a location, we've got it certified. And also because you have the processes in place to where if you have to take the moringa that you've dried off site to a process facility just to bring it back once it's packaged, you're that main hub that all of the moringa growers in your neighborhood that we also have had soil testing and analyzed, and they're also certified by the moringa through our standards, through the co-op, through our standards, that they're able to bring moringa to you. You're also able to hire, say, like general contractors or independent contractors to also make those harvests for you on behalf of the co-op. And we're still figuring out, is that the responsibility of the farmer like you and me? Do we carry that responsibility, or is it something that the co-op can also kind of help in that process where it's not necessarily the farm that's going out harvesting the greens, but it's actually, you put that co-op hat on as soon as you walk off the property and you're harvesting someone else's greens. You need to be covered by insurance and things like that. As soon as you walk off and you're going off to other people's properties, making sure that once you bring it back, everything's kind of accounted for in the co-op way, and it's not necessarily commingled, because I'm learning about taxes and structure and things like that, and what you can and cannot do with for-profits and non-profits and not-for-profits. I'm learning all these things.
Yes. I can imagine, so anything, as it relates to business and how we can potentially structure all of this, I could be a ear, a reason, and also at the same time, give some advice where needed and help steer some of that. No problem.
I mean, that would be beautiful, because we can do these Zoom meetings. We have like a weekly meeting that we come out with live on our Facebook group every Saturday at 1:00 Eastern Standard Time. I go live on our right outside here, where we just kind of recruit new members. We're answering questions. We want to be that resource center. If they have any questions about yellowing leaves, or their tree doesn't look good, we can reassure them. Like a lady just posted this morning, she accidentally left her drumsticks on her tree a little bit longer than she should have, because she opened them up and there's all kinds of bugs in them. It's all rotted. It's all, she left it on just a little bit too long. And I commented, I'm like, congratulations, you made it to the next level of training, because it takes a year or 2 years, sometimes 3 years for a grower to really go through all those cycles. I knew she was reaching the end of her training, because obviously she had a big trash can full of drumsticks. Her trees are probably at least 2-3 years old, and she's already kind of gone through the cycle of seeing her leaves yellow out, or watch her tree grow dormant. And then also she's probably cut her tree back already several times just to see it just explode with all those drumsticks. I mean, I'm so proud of her for getting there, but we need to get everybody else there that wants to be in the co-op on that level too. So it just takes time. And so one of the laws that we're faced with being a co-op is that, and this is great, which ties back into our grant writing, is that when someone walks in and they say that they want to be when someone says that they want to be a member, the thing is with grants and joining the co-op is that there has to be a waiting period. When someone says that they're interested in joining the co-op, there has to be a time period from which they are an intern member, or a waiting member is one of the terms that we use. And we're kind of setting that up for a year. So that way we can test that person from the moment that they walk through our doors, so to speak, that once that year is up, we have a definitive what they knew before they walked through the doors, and then also what they learned at the end, of that year. And so,
yeah, I think that's very important. Training is going to be key here. If you want consistency and you want, a quality product, I think it's important to make sure that we share, all of these concepts, issues that come and arise from growing moringa in different climates and different, environments. And I think that the more that we can share, the more success we can have as a co-op. And I think, the 1 year waiting period makes a lot of sense because like in California, we don't really see all the seasons like all of the other states on the East Coast and North. But, California is unique, and, you really have to know how to grow, especially where we're growing in the desert, where it's average like 115 degrees during the summer. So there's certain things that, I think farmers should know. And, by having this type of platform, it gives them an opportunity to seek the information that's needed so that they could be successful from the start. Yeah. And with the support of everything that you're doing, with the training and everything, I think it's, it's very well needed.
Thank you. Yeah, we've really just been focusing on the education aspect of the whole thing, trying to not only create value, learning how to market, have high standards, and then how do we get the audience also. And that's why it's important to just get this content out there. That's why I'm really grateful for you just joining us on here. And we'll continue to just have these short little meetings introduction meetings with people that are interested in joining. If anybody else is interested in joining, please let me know. My email is grow@moringagrowerscoop.org, and you can reach us over there at the co-op. And we have a free manual. Everyone's able to download this free manual at the co-op, and this kind of gets you introduced to the co-op model, business model, as well as some of the courses that we're going to be offering soon. And we want to get classes. We want to get online classes going. I want to teach, but I also want others like you, farmers like you, in your region to head and lead also a class and a course that will also not only act as a source of income for you and your farm, but also as a helping hand, because we need more hands on deck. That's the thing, is that we need more active members. We get a lot of people asking, yeah, I'd like to be a member, but I don't know anything about Moringa. I'm not interested about it. I just want the money, and then I kind of put those people on the back burner, because the people that really want to be active, the people that really are not worried about the money, the people that know the benefits of Moringa and what it can really do for families and mothers and men that are suffering from many, many diseases, that putting Moringa in the hands of the people that are malnutrition here in the States, but also teaching others about how to grow it, and then also taking that internationally, and how Moringa is just building and building and building. Over the past 10 years, I think I mentioned that it went from like a $0 to $2 billion industry. And then just in the last 2 years, it's already reached a $4 billion a year industry. So how do we tap into that market to be able to supply that? We have to be careful, because Moringa can pull up heavy metals. And so you just can't convert a conventional farm into a Moringa farm. It kind of has to be already a certified organic farm that then you begin growing Moringa on, or it has to be an already piece of land that's been sitting there for a couple of years that hasn't been growing anything. Because if there's any kind of sprays or anything like that, Moringa has the potential, once it gets bigger, to kind of store and keep those heavy metals in the root systems, which then in some testings that have come back from, say, other countries, have tested with high levels of metal in the leaf. And so it's very important to make sure that we're growing it in very, very high quality soil, clean soil every time. It all needs to be tested. And that's why we want to have a really high standard for everybody. And your aquaponic systems, the way that you're talking about how to feed the Moringa with fertilizer, tying in Kerry Waterman's mission of Moringa fertilizer with the fish, I mean, it goes hand in hand. So
right. Yes, and also the hemp component as well, because one of the things that we're doing at our farm is we're going to grow hemp in some of the soil to actually take up some of those heavy metals. And hemp is known to be a hyperaccumulator, so it can actually act as a phytoremediation tool for the soil you want to now grow Moringa in. So it actually preps the soil for your Moringa grow. That is something that we're going to be teaching people on how to do, to basically prep the soil with hemp so that you can grow Moringa, or grow a multi-crop.
Yeah, absolutely. Polycrop and get a hemp cooperative on your farm. This is how farmers need to think. It's not just one cooperative on their farm, but they're associated with a hemp co-op. They're associated with a Moringa co-op. They're associated with a cucumber co-op, whatever else they grow, to be able to get that out and off their farm and sold, so that way they're getting their money that they need. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and we've studied that whole hemp phytoremediation process, and our technology is actually built around that. So anybody that's in the need of, more information on that, please reach out, and I'll be happy to share.
Awesome. And we'll get your information down here. We'll get more people reaching out to you. We'll get you really locked in as one of the top tier members, and hopefully other people in your area will see this and reach out to you and let you know that they're growing Moringa in Cali. We have hundreds of customers, thousands of customers that have already purchased Moringa from us. And every time I'm shipping out to California, I'm wishing that I had someone that already is growing Moringa in the cone pots that we grow it in, already has, all of the tools and knowledge of how to essentially process and package the Moringa the way that we really like it, so that way they could be the ones shipping it out. And we're all taking a cut from those purchases as a drop shipper, as a grower in that area, and everything is acting much more on a local, because I don't like shipping to California. When the trees get there 5-6 days later, it's not as good. If we need to keep it really kind of hyper local. I'm really thinking about that as much as possible. Hyper local. That way, when someone's ordering in whatever city they are and they just type, they just hit Moringa, it's with our AI built into our website that knows that it's going to hit up your farm to fulfill that order. So that way it's going straight out from a local Moringa source. That way they get the best nutrients in their body as fast as possible.
Right. And I'm aware of the huge market here in California, and it makes sense to have a hub here. And, Southern California probably would be a good place, and maybe one in Northern as well. So, yeah. So anything we could do to support that, we have the facilities, we have places to do the whole processing, from seed all the way to sale. So
awesome.
Yeah. So,
and I was just thinking, I just had something come to me, and hopefully I didn't lose it. It was, because there's so many things that we're covering right now, and this is really beautiful about this, is just getting it out of my head that I've had in here, and also getting the processes and working with people in a group setting like this. We were just saying that these processing centers, it'll come back to me, but this is just really great. I'm just really happy that we're making this connection, continuing to meet new people. I forgot it. I really wish I remember what it was. There's so many things. It's beautiful. I'm really glad that you're here. What were you just saying about?
We were talking about hubs and local, hyper local, and keeping it local, and being able to fulfill orders that may come in from California, and being able to have the growers in place that will be able to fulfill any of those orders locally here versus shipping from Florida.
Yeah, there's so many ways to grow Moringa too. Like we have a lot of people asking about how they can grow it. You can grow it as an intense annual, or you can just grow it in a raised bed, really close together. And every 45 days, just kind of, take it as a microgreen. And this is especially for people that are maybe wanting to grow in Alabama or Mississippi or New Orleans. And in southern cities that still get cold, in the wintertime, where the Moringa might get, go dormant or possibly even die. And teaching them that all they really may need is even just a hoop house. They can take that plastic off in the wintertime, in the summertime, let the trees grow really big, and then they just, harvest those trees back. And then once winter comes, they can even cover that hoop house back up to protect the root systems.
Yes.
Kind of working on that, just different ways of being able to grow the Moringa in different regions. We have people calling us and letting us know that they're growing in Alaska, in New York. We just had a gentleman actually share a picture with me. He's got 50 Moringa trees growing in his apartment in the Bronx.
Wow.
I'm just like, this is crazy, man. He's like, yeah, man, I got my custom-made base coming. They're coming by and snipping fresh greens off these, and he's purchasing kilos of Moringa from us, and he's breaking it down, and he's providing all his neighborhood with co-op Moringa, which is really beautiful.
And I love all this and the different ways that this could be scaled, micro level, and then the maximum level will be global. And, and you can tap into all of those different environments, all the different people, the different size farmers, and develop a supply chain or a business around, the size of their farm or their resources that may, be available to them in that region or that country. And, we can think, way beyond, Moringa as a nutritional source just for humans consumption, but, it's good for animals. It's good for biogas, the methane component of it, carbon sequestration. We're talking about biomass to energy, all kind of things, that is still to be discovered and researched. And that's what's so great about what you're doing, it opens up those communications with the people who are passionate about all these, issues that we're faced with today. And, Moringa could be the tree that possibly solves a lot of those, problems and be a solution, not here, but, globally. And that's what I like about the whole idea and the mission, is that we could have global impact, and touch as many people as possible with something that, could, change someone's life, So
many great testimonials.
Yes, very, very much so.
When did you first hear about Moringa?
Well, it goes back years ago, and I was introduced to it. I was a lifelong vegetarian vegan for 28 years until last year, believe it or not. And basically, I was introduced from my mentor, who actually turned me on to a vegetarian lifestyle. And, I tried it years ago, but didn't really know what it was. I had it in a smoothie and really didn't know what it was. And then recently, over the last 3 or 4 years, I was reintroduced to it from a friend and colleague of mine. His name is James Brady. And James has been connected with the whole Moringa movement and introduced it to me again in the form of a tea. And it was very delicious. And I was like, oh, this is so great. And then I learned more about it and was connected with a farm that had been growing it for about 10 years. And the farm kind of went dormant around the growing of Moringa. But we're, now revitalizing the farm, and we're growing it, and, we're growing it in a 21st century aquaculture system that we think is going to help speed up the process and also give people a little more flexibility in being a farmer nowadays. And we want to teach these methods and give people an opportunity to see the plant in a different light, and also or the tree, I should say, in a different light. And at the same time, do something that, sustainable, and something that, will make money and not impact the environment, as much of as other plants and other, agriculture is, being produced. So
that's great, man. I love that story. That's beautiful. I mean, plant-based protein, that's what Moringa is all about too.
Right. The proteins and, doing all types of things. And, I love what you've done with some of your products. And, I'd love to talk to you more about how we could possibly, leverage some of the things that you've already done, and, maybe go to market with some of the products that you're already producing here in California.
Absolutely. Thanks, Derrick. We're going to go ahead and call this one a day. This was a great episode here today. I really appreciate you, and I'll get back with you. I'll give you a ring. Let's go ahead and end this now. I think Zoom is probably going to end it because it's about 40 minutes.
Sure. It was a pleasure talking with you, and I look forward to having more of this.
Yeah, we're going to do more of these. I really appreciate it, Derrick.
No problem. Have a good evening.
Cool.
Bye.